Hey everyone, this is Philip, and this is the best of the week for the Everyday Fighter podcast.
Being able to introduce him to something where he is getting to experience the facts that he's having to learn something and he can only figure it out for himself. Coach, me, anybody else, I can say, well, here's what worked for me. Here's what I think of. Almost 100% guaranteed that's not going to work for you. But that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of get there.
Right.
And parts of it kind of sucked.
That's exactly it.
I kept getting my ass handed to me.
That's right. That's right.
And to watch him start to make that progress, I'm like, I think that's, well, in a lot of ways, I'm like, that gives me hope for him becoming a teenager. And, it's like he's already getting to experience the fact that, yeah, dad doesn't have all the answers. And some of dad's answers don't work for me. But dad is still out there trying. Dad is still out there growing. I told him, I was really frank with him. I took a jiu-jitsu class, one of my first couple of classes, and I kind of like went into white belt deathmatch mode. Like I started like not being able to control what was going on. And my last memory of jiu-jitsu was back when I was training. And I'm like, no, I'm one of the better people here. What the fuck is going on? But here's this like white belt with 2 stripes on her belt and she's kicking my ass. And I started to kind of physically lose control. I started to go into that panic mode and that white belt deathmatch. And so I just stopped. I just tapped. I was like, tapped. And she's like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I said something about like, I'm having some vertigo thing.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped going to jiu-jitsu and I actually talked to the owner and he's like, hey, what happened? I was like, I freaked out. And it's because, I was in a headspace where I realized I'm wanting to basically start going into that. I need to physically do whatever I can to get out of this. Yeah. And that's not good. That's not safe. Somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah. Me, the other person, that's not cool. And I actually talked to Rowan about it, talked to my son about it. I was like, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways it's starting over. I mean, and so that feeling you had when you first started and you were like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. I'm like, yeah, guess what? Dad was there last week. Dad's taking the next week off, because dad can do that. No, you can't take the next week.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So giving him the opportunity to see that in a way it's not personal to him, right. It's he's seeing in the context of something that we share, is really, really cool. I mean, I think in a lot of ways in terms of, fatherhood, I think that's been the biggest benefit of getting back into it, is that he gets to see me struggle. He gets to see me going, oh man, yeah, I could dig my knuckle in here and get you off of me, but that's not kosher. So I'm not going to, which means, okay, I'm tapping again.
Right.
And guess what? I'm learning a hell of a lot. So there you go.
And that just reminded me of something I'd heard from other people, usually in kind of a religious context. I'm not a religious person. By any stretch, I'd say I'm more spiritual, but I take wisdom from all different sources. And one of the things that my friends say in that context is, God wouldn't put it in front of you if you weren't ready, if you weren't able to take it, if you weren't able to accept it and make something more out of it. And I after some reflection, I thought, well, gosh, maybe that's the case here. Maybe God, maybe the universe, maybe just chance, whatever you might want to call it. It just put this opportunity to him because I'm ready. And I think that's something could be useful, a useful point of view, whether it's something where, like myself right now, feeling kind of daunted by it, feeling not ready. But I think it could also apply to situations where, man, it just sucks, right? It's painful. It's just emotionally draining. You're going through a tough time. And, I think even those cases, I know it's helped me in the past where it's like, it wouldn't be in front of me unless I could take it, unless I could go through it, right? So that was useful for me to think about in this situation. Interestingly enough, it came full circle a couple of days later, when I was in my regular morning class teaching, and one of the recent black belt graduates from this year, hadn't seen her in a while because of, just kind of taking a break from the, going through the test and the training for all that, the boot camps and that type of thing, that I finally see her back in my class. And it was awesome to see her. She deserved every bit of the kudos that she got for the way that she passed her test. It was awesome. And it was a little bit bittersweet when she did pass, because the typical transition for many folks in a lot of different martial arts styles is that once they hit their black belt, that pretty much they're on a slow burn to be gone, to leave. If not immediately after they get their black belt, fairly soon after. And that's not something that I wanted for her for a couple reasons. One, just being selfish, in that, I was really proud of her, loved having her in my class, had a lot of energy, and she was very inspirational to a lot of people as well. So I wanted to see her continue. But on the other side of it, I felt like she had a talent. She has a talent that she had just, in the last couple of years, discovered through, training with us. And I thought that she could develop it even more, so that it could turn into something. I don't know if it would be further down in martial arts and stuff, but there's always another level, and I thought that she could rise to that occasion just to in terms of her own growth. And I just love to see that. I love people embracing opportunities for that. So I wanted her around, and part of that was like, okay, well, and I know in my own growth, I had to start teaching. It wasn't enough for me to develop my own skills. I had to get to a point where I was helping other people develop their skills. And that's what I wanted for her. Yes, she could continue training. Yes, we'd keep on, stretching her in the different ways that she could learn. But part of that growth is also, and especially if you've got a talent already, developing it by sharing it with others, right? Refining it by better understanding who you are and how all of that works with you, by telling other people and teaching them. And, I know I've learned so much more about myself after I started teaching. And this is anything. It's not just martial arts. This is across the board. I mean, I've been training, I've done corporate training, for a long time. And this is something that I'd found about it, kind of getting to the next level means helping other people get to the level that you're already at. So, and I told her this in no uncertain terms. I said, listen, I know you mentioned that after black belt, you're thinking about leaving, but I really don't want you to leave. I think that, it would be really beneficial for you and your development to continue with this and step into a role of helping me, be my assistant for a spell, and start teaching the things that you have learned. And I looked her in her eye, I said, you've got a talent for this, and this is just going to be part of developing the talent that you already have. So I'm hoping that she really embraces my offer. She takes me up on it, and she got a bit emotional as I was telling her this, and that's not what I was looking for. But I know what it's like to get praise from other folks, people that I respect, and I get emotional about it too. But that's not the point of me telling her that. It was just to drill home to her that this is something that I felt that she was ready for.